it was very difficult. You know, for a while I was trying to change my name because I thought I should be called Christopher.
I have
good too.
It has nothing to do with Chris.
I have a super short question. I want to see how you react. Let's imagine we're in the Winter Soldier, and I ask you, Bucky?
Who the hell is Bucky?
Thank you, Christopher.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
You guys have to accept me back. Because
you are Romanian.
I am Romanian, yes, of course, I am Romanian. But like I said, I'm also American too. I mean, I've spent a long time there. I was there for
your whole life.
I was there a lot longer than I was in Romania. You know, but I don't believe I'm one of those people that I can't believe that things just happen coincidentally. I just can't believe that. I've always believed that everything has some connection. There's always a cause and effect. And so I think the fact that I'm from here, to me, is a big part of why I'm here talking to you right now, you know.
For me, it's interesting that you were just a kid when you left Romania, and you still think about Romania and going back and talk to the Romanians. So do you think that is because of your family, or just like this, one day you just want to know where are you coming from?
I think it's much more that. I think you know, I spent a long time when I was a kid feeling very different from everybody, and for a big part of that, it was not always a good thing. I always thought, you know, you should be like everybody else, you should be like everybody else. And I think eventually I realized that being different was a good thing, you know, and then you know, it led me back around to some of the original places where I'm from, you know. I guess I wouldn't be doing this unless I was from here, or unless I had lived in, you know, here in Vienna, and then I moved when I moved. All those things that have happened, you know, a lot of it was luck, but a lot of it was also circumstantial.
But you know that there are a lot of Romanians that they're ashamed that they're Romanians. So when they go in some other countries, they're just not saying that they're Romanians.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of Americans that are ashamed to be Americans right now. I mean,
that's true.
Is anybody
also
looking at what Kanye West is saying? What's happening? I mean,
it's such a good thing for you now that you're Romanian, you see?
listen, all you have to do is just be okay with who you are. I think that's really, like, we spent a long time of our lives fighting that. And the sooner you can figure that out, the sooner you can accept that, I think the easier it's going to be.
Who told you in the first place that maybe you could be an actor, or you have a little bit of talent or
This is
something?
like inside the actor's studio.
Yeah.
Wait, so who told me I could be an actor?
Yeah. I don't know, when you were a kid, or who told you, maybe you're talented, you should do this?
I don't. My mom always wanted me to do impressions of my neighbors, or of our neighbors, and that was kind of the beginning.
Yeah?
of that. But it always started with my mom. I mean, she was very supportive of me wanting to do this. You know,
You were a good dancer, as I saw on television.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
You're not talking about what we were just dancing to.
No. No.
We weren't dancing.
Yeah. You wanna dance?
Not the second, but I'm sure at some point.
Yeah. So you were a good dancer. You were telling good poetry things, or what did you do when you were a kid?
I played out. You mean in Romania?
Yeah, when we were in Romania.
I played outside.
Kindergarten or something.
I played outside, and I used to draw all the time. And then when I got to Vienna, I went into a supermarket and I saw bananas for the first time. And my mom turned to me and she said, "There's a camera here, you can't steal it."
I thought you would say there's a camera, so when you take the bananas, you should look in camera.
Yeah, no,
No.
that was
Oh,
not. No,
That was not.
no, that's not.
And when did you decide to be an actor?
I think it maybe happened when I was 15 or 16.
How?
I was at high school outside of New York, and they wanted people to try out for the local play or the musical, and then I went out for it, and I really liked it, and then I decided to go to a camp, and then I met my manager. You know, I've been with for 17 years at this point. So I met, you know, who was a very influential part of my life. Again, another reason why I'm here. But, you know, I was very lucky because she gave me her phone number and I lost the phone number, and then I never called her, and of course she remembered where I was working at the time. I was working in a movie theater, so then she called me and then she found me again. So again, I guess that's luck, right?
What did your parents say when you said, I'm going to be an actor, I'd like to be an actor? Because, you know, most of the parents are saying, don't you want to have a real job?
No, my mom, I don't, no, I think my mom really was happy that I was going to, when we got to Vienna, she was trying to have me sort of go out for acting roles and stuff, and I was very shy. I didn't really want to, you know, I didn't like the fact that you worked so late in the night and so on. So she left me alone, and then when I kind of got back to the idea, then she was very happy about it, because then, you know, it sort of confirmed for her that that's what I really wanted to do.
She wanted you to do this because she found out that you're very handsome?
I don't know. I'm sure if you ask her, maybe she'll tell you that. But I don't know. She just thought this was maybe what made sense for me, I guess. I didn't believe her for a long time, though, because I don't, you know, I'm not always very comfortable talking in front of people.
Okay.
But
how was your first casting? Do you remember?
my first what?
Casting.
Casting.
Yeah.
I went into a room, and the casting director didn't look at me. They were typing an email, and they just said, yeah, go ahead. And then they continued typing the email, and I did the whole situation. And I walked out of there. She didn't look at me once.
And what happened?
I did not get that job.
Okay, maybe because they didn't pay attention to you?
No, but actually that casting director ended up being the first person to give me a job years later, funny enough.
And did you tell them about the situation the first time?
I absolutely did.
Yeah?
I definitely told them about it.
And what did they say?
They didn't say much
They were
about it.
occupied.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I think it's, you know, it's a difficult thing. You go in these rooms, and you're always trying to get someone to notice you in some way, and then sometimes you succeed, other times you don't.
But if you go, I mean, you're going all the time to the castings, no? So is it hard? Because I don't know if you're going to the first one and they say no, and the second and they say no, and how can you continue?
You have to really be, the best word I can describe it is you have to be obsessed. You have to be obsessed with this thing, you know? And I never had any plan B, you know? I never had another option. Like, I never really, you know...
Thinking about another job or something?
No, this was it. It's the only thing I ever thought I was going to be good at, or, you know, and so this was, every time I went out, it was going to be life or death, and it still feels like that sometimes, you know, for better or worse.
Who is your hero in the real life?
Who's the hero in real life? I mean, you know, I think what I really feel is important in life is perseverance. You know, I like seeing people that don't take no for an answer. You know, and I know there's a lot of heroes like that, but anybody that, you know, I don't care what you do. I don't care how much money you have. I don't care what you do for a job. If you're good at it or not, if you're, you know, if you just don't take no for an answer and you keep getting up in the morning over and over and you're doing it, then I think you're succeeding in some way, because that's what we should be doing, you know. If you believe in something and you go for it,
you don't have to give up.
No. What are you going to give up at the end of the day? What is there to give up? I mean, like, we're all going to die at some point. Sorry to get dark, but I'm just saying, what is there to
That's
really?
really you.
You know what I mean? Like, go do your thing. Go do what you want to do. Life is short as it is.
Let's talk a little bit about I, Tonya. How did you get the part?
I went in for the mustache. No, actually, I did have a mustache when I in for the audition, but I originally they were talking to somebody who was a much more famous person than me, and you know, even though they liked the conversation I had about it, they were going to do this with this other person, and then that didn't work out, and then I got a call saying, "Do you want to come in and you should read with Margot Robbie?" And we had a chemistry test, and then I waited for another 2-3 weeks, and then finally they told me that I got it.
Is it more difficult to play a role when it's a real character behind your character?
It is. I mean, it's easier and more difficult. I mean, the reason it's easier is at least you know where you got to get to. You know, you have a destination. You go, okay, well, whatever I have to do, I have to go there. But it's harder because at the same time, like you have to mold to something. You don't have the same freedom.
Have you met him? I mean, the husband of Tonya Harding?
Yeah,
for this?
I did.
How was it? Did you talk with him about all the story, the whole story, or?
I tried to talk to him, and you know, he was very unreadable because I couldn't really. Well, I didn't know if he was telling me the truth or not. I didn't know, to be honest. But at the same time, it didn't matter at that point, because as an actor, you're always servicing the script. You know, you're always going back to the script. So in the script, I had to play him the way he said what happened, and then the way that she said what happened. And those two things were very different. So I just was curious to know who he was as a kid, or how did it start out, you know, was it ever, I know it was terrible, I know all these things happened, but was it ever good? Was it ever okay at any point? Was it, you know, Margot and I were really trying to find the good in these people, because there was so much negativity around it, and so we were trying to approach it from a place of like creating a love story of some sort, you know, and I was more interested in.
And it's interesting also to observe the character, I mean the person that he was, to see how he speaks, how he moves, or something to.
Yeah,
to
well,
do the
he
same
speaks
thing
very
in the.
specifically, yeah. I haven't been able to get rid of it.
Oh,
no, my friends and I sometimes still.
You wanna come on the stage?
Still do the voice.
We don't have chairs, but you don't need chairs, as I know.
But yeah, he's a very specific guy. I mean, you know, I never got to lose the amount of weight that I wanted to lose. He's a very different looking person, and he sounds very different. So.
And did you meet also Tonya Harding?
I did not meet her. Margot met her. Yeah.
And she told you about her, or it was important to know her story, or
she didn't want to tell me about her, but I did meet her actually after the movie, when she saw it, and she was, you know, very happy that we made the movie, and you know, she told me she was very scared by what I was doing in the movie, and you know, I guess I took that as some compliment, but you know, it's bizarre, it's weird. I mean, it's, you know, they're larger than life characters. I mean, it's not, you know, you look at that and you can't believe it's real life, you know, or that happened.
You did know about this story before, or it was the first time when you've heard about Tonya Harding's story?
I was in Vienna when that happened, so I remember hearing about it, but I don't remember it that well.
The details of the story.
Yeah.
And it was scary for you?
Which part?
The whole part.
Yeah, it was scary, of course. I mean, it's not, you know, you're not
used to hear these kind of stories, or?
Well, you're not always going to work doing this kind of a thing, you know. I mean, Margot and I always had a very good relationship because we were trying to keep the humor between us, even when we weren't shooting. just so that we could, you know, get through the darker scenes or whatever, because otherwise it was getting, you know, it would be very serious. But we had a good trust level. We trusted each other very well, you know, and but it was not always easy. No, not at all.
What do you think it was the hardest part of your job?
Hitting her? That might have been a little hard. Once in a while, I don't know. I mean, like, any of that stuff was not easy. It was not easy at all, you know. But again, like, I feel like your job, when you're doing a job, is you have to show whatever it is that you're showing. I mean, and sometimes it's not always the good things.
Talking generally, what do you think it was the best advice that you got as an actor?
It's, you know, it's always the same thing. You have to love the process. You can't love, you know, the results. You can't love the expectations. You can't, you know, sit here and go, oh, well, you know, this is gonna be the thing. You know, you have to love the work, and that's the hardest part. Because you can work, people work so hard for so long, and they never get that result that they want. They never get the ultimate, you know, fame or award or attention. So you have to love the process.
How important do you think it is to come from an acting school? To be an actor from an acting school and not just a person with a lot of talent?
I don't know, because there's a couple people out there that I don't think have ever had any training, and they're really great. You know, Christian Bale always says he never had any training. I don't know, but I think it's important to know, to have some respect for what you do. I think it's unfortunate that actors don't get a lot of respect anymore, because you have personalities now. You don't really have actors that much. You just have a bunch of personalities that play themselves over and over again, and that's not anything that's not what drew me to doing this. It's always the people like Christian Bale or Joaquin Phoenix, or, you know, that who are always different in everything they do. And so whatever you do to get you there, it's fine.
How difficult is for you to pass through from something with the superheroes movies to a movie like that?
Well, first of all, I wouldn't have gotten this movie if it wasn't for those superhero movies. So, you know, they wouldn't have, I think, looked at me the same way. So again, you can't judge something, you know, in a certain way. You gotta just
admit there are movies like
yeah,
this.
I mean, look,
like,
we're in a different world right now. You know, it's not the 1990s. I mean, or the 80s. It's not. People are getting jobs in a very different way. I mean, you know that. It's like, so these are the kind of movies that are happening now. I'd love to have been around when Benicio del Toro was starting out, or Ethan Hawke, or any of these people. You know, I mean, again, they're in their own lane, like they're incomparable, but it's a different business. So whichever way that it gets you exposure is fine. I mean, people can get jobs off of YouTube right now, or Instagram. It's a whole different world.
You are doing a lot of good things for kids. I was seeing you in the hospitals, going and visit some kids. Why? What do you? Why? Yeah.
Yes. Why?
Yeah. Why?
Because what are we doing if we're not, you know, like, if we don't find humility in ourselves, what is the point of anything, really, at that point? I mean, like, I think humility is the most important characteristic you can ever find, and you know, we're all human, and, you know, it's just, if you're in a situation that I feel like sometimes when you get success, I think if you don't find a way to give back, I really don't know how else to fully experience that. It just, for me, I guess, maybe I have a guilt complex. I have no idea. I don't see how you can not find a way to connect with people that are less fortunate or in need of something. If you go to one of these hospitals, especially with the Avengers and these movies, you know, like, I've seen kids sort of light up from that whole experience. I mean, it's worth maybe the whole experience, the whole shooting of the movie for that. Yeah.
Do you think that is also because of your education from home? They were telling you that it's nice and good to think about other people
No,
that were
well,
not so...
I think that has a lot to do with it. I mean, I think, like I said, I don't, you know, I didn't, we weren't always very lucky, you know. I mean, we were lucky always, but we weren't always in a good place, you know. I mean, like I said, you know, I grew up with a single mom, and she was living in different countries and was doing her best, you know, taking care of me and having a job, and she made sure that I felt always that things were okay, one way or another. And so I think all that stuff kind of leads to believing, you know, in yourself, and in a way, yeah, to make you more humble and to make you more aware of, you know, what you should do when you're in a position where you can give back.
You can help other people.
I think that's probably the only reason we're all really here, to be honest.
Okay, now we'll take some questions from the audience. So, who's the first one? Do we have a microphone over there? Or thank you.
Am uitat că suntem în Romania.
Welcome back.
Yes.
Bună seara.
Bună seara.
Okay, so first of all, before I go to my question, I just want to say we Romanians, we're kind of big on getting down on each other and self-deprecating humor and all that, but for the quality of your work in the past years, you gave us something truly positive to talk about, so thank you for that.
Pleasure. Good pleasure.
Okay, and now let's talk about you as a wife beater. So I read this article about how the approach to domestic violence in the movie was kind of light or light-hearted in some scenes, and there was a lot of breaking the fourth wall to try and kind of take away from the brutality of it. Was there anything specifically about how you acted in those scenes where you tried to convey something more? You wanted people to understand that Jeff is not just a wife beater? Is there something that you did specifically, maybe it wasn't in the script, to add some dimension to the character?
Well, I mean, the thing was, it was a really great script, always. I mean, all of it, everything you've seen on there was in the script. I mean, you know, we managed to get a lot in there. And then also as a director, that was a directing choice, because he really knew, you know, he wanted us to watch these movies like the Coen, you know, from the Coen brothers, like Fargo and Big Lebowski, and kind of, you know, it had like a dark humor that he wanted to go after. And so it was great that we had him to kind of go, okay, like this is a little bit serious now, we need to find a way to complement that in a way, because otherwise it's just more about making you, not alienating you from the movie, because by the end you're like, I can't watch this is not watchable. And we weren't making a documentary, you know, there were real people, but at the same time we were gonna take, you know, we're gonna do a movie about them, so we're gonna treat them as characters. But yeah, that's a very good point, because we were always looking to see how we could balance out the violence in a way that's watchable, because it was just, it's so awful on its own.
The next question, please. Yes.
Hi. Can you tell us more about your charity? Because I know you've done lots of charity work, and I want to know very much about it.
Our big day out?
Yeah.
Okay,
care
well,
for
that's
them.
not my charity. Well, but I am very lucky to have been associated with that charity, and I have to give a big thanks to my friend Alex for introducing me to that charity. But you know, it honestly, it started like a very small thing, and this is, you know, more and more I get worried about like the world that we live in terms of, you know, how we all interact and social media and how everything is interpreted and what happens and whatnot. But this was a great example of why something like social media is so powerful if it's used the right way. And, you know, I had some very dedicated fans who, they just wanted to help, and they reached out, and they knew that I sort of had some connections to our big day out, and I've been wanting to get more and more involved with them over time. And then these fans were gracious enough to go, look, you know, we want to do something, It started from a whole other thing, but again, we were able to kind of connect in a way, and they were able to raise, I think, 22 to 25,000 euros or something for our big day out. And now, you know, I'm gonna get to meet those kids finally firsthand tomorrow. I think there's 500 of them that are coming out, and they're gonna watch the Civil War movie, and they're, you know, they're gonna get some toys, and it's gonna be great. But for me, it's the least I could do from afar. I'm just happy that now I can actually be here, you know, and meet them personally. So, but again, that's a good example of where people on social media connected, and they raised all this money, and that's totally a credit to them. And on Instagram, our big day out fundraiser, they raised all that money on their own.
Hello. Oh, do you have a microphone? Okay.
Hi. Thank you for coming. Actually, I wanted to ask a small favor. I know everyone's gonna roll their eyes
She
and
wants you
stuff.
to dance.
No. No, maybe, no. I have a small YouTube channel, movie reviews. I was wondering if you can give a shout out or something in Romanian maybe, or anything you like. I always say at the end, I always say pupa da pa, like kisses bye bye. It's something like a catchphrase. If you can say that.
That poop. Wait.
Pupa da pa da pa da pa.
Wow. Okay, that sounds like a lot.
It's a tongue twister. Sorry.
No, what do I say? I don't know. I only know two like Romanian things. I only know Chazis Ghița, and I know Înainte.
Okay, that's good.
Mergem înainte. That's all I got.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hi. Here.
Ah, okay.
I want to ask you, it was harder to play Jeff or to play Bucky?
No way. This was way harder. Of course, this is like definitely way harder. I mean, again, well, just because. But that was the challenge, you know. This really like made me think very differently about what I want to do going forward. You know, I feel like regardless of what it is, I want to try and be challenged in some way. Not that Bucky isn't challenging; he's very challenging on his own. But he's about to be a hell of a lot happier in the next couple of years. Just a little tidbit. We hope. But
You didn't say this. Did you see the mustache that he has here on the first row?
you can't think of me with the other two guys that spoil everything. Tom Holland and Mark Ruffalo are not their own world. Do you know Tom Holland?
Why are you asking me this?
Do you know Tom Holland?
Yes. Where's the
Hey.
next? Yes?
Okay. Hi.
Hi, but we don't see you.
She's here.
Okay.
So, in the beginning of the movie, Jeff says that growing up, one of his biggest fears were the oh my's, and goes with the Wizard of Oz reference. I was wondering if growing up you had any such fears that you told yourself, if I don't overcome this, I'm gonna be in trouble.
Yes, I did. I'm not even sure if those fears ever went away. No, they did. But yeah, I mean, you know, I had probably any fear like any other kid that was out of place, out of time, you know, which is Bucky Barnes. But you know, which is I want to fit in. I want to be like, you know. I don't know, if you guys, anybody out here in high school right now, I'm already gonna commend you and tell you like, you're heroes to me, because high school is hard, and especially when you're growing up. If you're a teenager, it's really hard, and you gotta fit in, and I don't even know how you do it now with Instagram and all this stuff, where like, whether or not you get invited, or you read something about someone, it's crazy. So, you know, I always wanted to fit in, right, until I realized that it's better to not fit in, and be your own thing, so, maybe that.
Okay, over there.
I wanted to know what was the closest role you've ever played, not the most challenging, but the closest to your heart or something like this.
No, I mean, well, obviously, the whole Marvel thing was very, but there was, there were other roles, like, in Kings that I got to do. That was very, at the time I really killed myself for that role, and it was different. And every time I think, that's why I'm trying to be much more specific going forward with what I want to get after, because I think unless you really care 100%, you shouldn't get into it. All right.
Yeah, over there. Thank you.
So, I was wondering, was it ever hard to switch between being Jeff, playing one of those intense scenes, and then going back and being yourself and being off screen?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think that really depends on the people around you. Like, Margot and Paul Hauser, who play the bodyguard. He is a good friend of mine at this point. Yeah, we always had a good thing with each other. Where at the end of the night we would look at each other and go like, "You're okay, I'm okay. Let's go home and do this." But it does take. Sometimes it takes a minute, I guess, to. I liked that in this movie. I didn't have to, whenever I looked in the mirror or something, it was not something I usually saw, and the eyes were a big thing for me. That's why I really wanted to wear contacts. I mean, first of all, his eyes are darker than mine, but anything that kind of changes you in any way helps.
Yes. Do we have a microphone over here also, in the first row? Thank you.
Hey Sebastian, how's it going?
That's the mustache.
I just wanted to ask, different series altogether, but still Disney. With your recent interactions with Mark Hamill on Twitter, if you've got any news with all this Han Solo young movies going on, if you've got any news...
Are you from Australia?
Yes, I am from Australia.
I really like...
You've got an Australian friend, I know, right? Chris Hemsworth.
Oh, right. Yes, I do.
If you've got any news, maybe from Lucas film or maybe Disney in general.
I really have not. I don't. Yeah, no. But I have said it. I'm very okay with it if they're okay with it. I just think, when am I going to play him? My friend over there, right there. Okay, him. All right. I said to him, hey, I look like Mark Hamill. Like, I feel like, I could play him when he was younger. And he goes, yeah, but you're not young anymore, bro. You'd be like
That's a real friend.
He goes, you'd be like middle-aged Mark.
That's the gap now between the movies, right?
Oh God. So if I could play him after Return of the Jedi.
Okay, perfect.
If they ever want to do that, then maybe I have a chance.
Okay. Yeah, please.
Welcome back to Romania, Sebastian. Did you get to check out any places here in Bucharest?
I have not yet, because all I've done is just go from the airport straight to here, pretty much. So I haven't yet, but I think tomorrow or the next day I might be able to kind of go around a little bit.
And also like to answer one of your questions. You remember the beginning of Civil War, when you were in hiding, and you asked...
It's so funny because it was great, like they came up to me and they're like, yeah, we should, like he's hiding in Romania, we should use like your language and stuff. And I was like, yes, of course.
It's good that you didn't say the Giza thing.
No.
In the middle of the movie, where is Giza?
Yeah, I'm looking for my friend. No, but the plums, I mean, I can't escape the plums. Wait, how do you say plums in Romanian? Prune.
You did say câte kilogramul de prune.
Clearly my memory's
and I
not
checked,
working.
It's like,
again.
it was like 7 late, and that's like under $2. You should invest in that.
Who's next? Let's take somebody from. Okay.
Okay, I'm a little bit nervous right now because I always thought how would be seeing you in real life. And tonight you said that when you came to Romania, to America, you wanted to be like the others, and you wanted to be, and now you want to be like you yourself, and how to accept yourself. And it's
Yes.
I'm very happy to meet you because I'm very
I'm nervous all the time. You know.
I know you said that.
I'm nervous right now.
He's just acting.
It's true.
I always thought how it would be to meet you in real life, and
Probably disappointing.
I really like it. And see, I'm a really big fan. I have a T-shirt with your face.
Oh, I see that. Well, that's good. How are you?
I'm okay. I don't have a T-shirt with your face, but I'm okay with myself. So
We're okay.
I found myself.
This is a safe environment.
And I want to thank you because always when you speak in your interviews about your anxiety or about what you feel, I can feel what you feel right now because always when I speak with a lot of people.
Public speaking. Yes, I know. I mean, that's never, I don't know, that never really gets easy, I think, for anybody. But you know you're not alone in that, so you just got to remind yourself of that.
Thank you.
Thank you too.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Can you tell us one of the most funniest story that happened while filming The Avengers or I, Tonya, if you have one?
Well, in I, Tonya, when I come in with Paul, the bodyguard, and I kind of get mad at him, and you know, I confront him about what did you do and what did you say, you know. In that scene, we kind of really hit each other for real, pretty much every take, because he and I decided that we were going to be better actors if we really threatened ourselves, I guess. At the end, we just really were in pain. But other than that, that's the scene that came out of it. And then Avengers, I feel like I can't talk about it because the second that I say something, it's gonna mean one thing, you know.
Don't spoil it.
It's coming out. It's out right now.
Don't say. Don't say.
Yeah.
Okay, next question, please. There are a lot of girls over there, so if they can have a microphone. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. I would like to ask, I know that on the set of the movie, usually there are pranksters that play pranks. Did that happen on the I, Tonya set?
Pranks on I, Tonya. No, not so much. Everybody was a little scared of pranks on I, Tonya. But the Civil War movie, you know, Robert Downey Jr. definitely likes to make you laugh when the camera's on you and not on him. Probably because he'd like to make sure that he's better in the scene. But other than that, no, but just silly stuff like that. You know, I think there's a video somewhere where the whole cast is like singing the soundtrack to Grease. Again, I'm still waiting for it to come out.
We have another 2 questions, please.
Hi.
Over here?
Here.
Yes.
Nice to finally meet you. Welcome home. I'm pretty nervous because you're actually real and I can't believe it. I'm just gonna say that I love you so much. A lot, actually.
Say you best.
No, thank you. My question for you was,
Would you marry me?
since you are like one of the few actors that are really dedicated to their fans, I'm just gonna ask, how important are the fans for you?
They're very important because, again, I feel like I don't think these movies would really exist without the fans. You know, these Marvel movies, you know, you guys have a lot more influence than you think, you know, on what happens, on what stories you want to see, what, you know, what characters you like. And also because I have been lucky where I've had a lot of people come up to me and write me personal letters and write to me on Instagram and stuff where they're really dealing with serious issues, and, you know, for some reason they, you know, they've related to this character or something, and so that makes it a huge responsibility, but in a good way. You know, it makes me feel like there's something good you can do with this sort of thing, you know. I'm not a doctor, I'm not, you know, but like at the same time, you could sometimes maybe making someone, you know, forget for 2 hours is okay too.